Imagine, like, scoring the winning goal in a World Cup match. You know, you rip your shirt off in pure, unadulterated joy. The crowd is just deafening. And you immediately get a yellow card from the referee.
Yeah, pretty standard reaction from a ref, honestly.
Right, but now imagine your coach is standing on the sideline watching this all unfold, and he is absolutely thrilled.
Which makes no sense on the surface.
Exactly. Not just because of the goal, but because he is simultaneously calculating like this massive 495 permutation algorithmic equation in his head. And he realizes your yellow card just mathematically secured the team's survival on some master spreadsheet.
It is wild. That is the modern game right there.
Welcome to the deep dive. We're so glad you're here with us today. We are looking at a really fascinating stack of sources, ranging from on-the-pitch match reports and FIFA press conference transcripts, all the way to broadcast analysis and, bizarrely, even cryptocurrency news.
Which I know sounds like an incredibly chaotic mix of information.
Yeah, it really does.
But it perfectly encapsulates the modern reality of this sport.
For sure. So our mission today is to decode the sheer complexity and, well, the absolute madness of this newly expanded 2026 World Cup format.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. We're using a historic, high-stakes Group B finale between Bosnia and Herzegovina and Qatar as our lens for this. We're going to explore what actually happens on the pitch, how it's being translated and broadcast to you at home, and the surreal commercial circus that's currently surrounding the entire tournament.
Because you really can't just watch the ball roll back and forth anymore. I mean, to be a well-informed fan today, you have to understand the entire underlying ecosystem.
Right.
It dictates why these players and coaches are making such bizarre decisions.
So let's jump straight into the calculus of survival because, you know, the 2026 World Cup expanded to 48 teams.
Huge change.
Yeah, and the sources note this expansion has actually been surprisingly well received. Like, we've seen smaller nations like Curacao and Cabo Verde pulling off shock results on the global stage.
Which is always fun to watch.
Always. But the math required to get out of the group stage and into the knockouts is just staggering now. We have 12 groups of 4 teams, right?
Right.
And the top 2 teams from each group advance. So that gives us 24 teams, which is fairly standard.
But see, the tournament needs a round of 32 for the knockout stage. So after those top 2 teams from the 12 groups advance, you still have 8 empty slots to fill.
And this is where the beautiful simplicity of football gets thrown into a blender.
Literally blender.
To fill those final 8 spots, FIFA takes all 12 of the third-place finishers. These are teams that played in completely different groups against entirely different opponents in different climates.
Yep.
And they pull them into one giant master ranking table. The top 8 of those 12 move on.
It creates a completely different kind of tension. I mean, in previous World Cups, if your team lost their first 2 games, the tournament was over for you.
Right, you were just packing your bags.
Exactly. You play the third game as a formality. But under this new format, a team could realistically lose 2 games, win their third, and with just 3 points, mathematically sneak in as the 8th best third-place team.
Wow.
So every single minute of every single game matters globally.
Which brings us to the tiebreakers for this massive third-place table. And this is where it reads less like a sporting rulebook and more like a high-stress accounting exam.
It really does.
First, they rank you by points. If you're tied, they go to goal difference. If you're still tied, it goes to total goals scored.
But after only 3 group games, I mean, you are absolutely going to have multiple teams deadlocked with the exact same points and the exact same goals.
So we arrive at the infamous FairPlay score. Behavioral discipline suddenly becomes a strictly quantifiable metric for tournament advancement.
Yeah.
Walk me through how this is actually calculated because, you know, to a casual fan, a yellow card just looks like a warning.
Sounds minor, right?
Yeah.
So you look at the master spreadsheet. A single yellow card docks your team 1 fair play point.
Just 1 card.
Yep. A red card resulting from 2 cautions is -3 points. A straight red card is -4. And a yellow card followed by a direct red is -5 points.
Wow, -5.
So let's visualize how this plays out, okay? Imagine your team is sitting in that crucial 8th qualification spot. You have 4 points, a 0 goal difference, and let's say 4 goals scored.
Okay, I'm with you.
There is another team in a completely different group playing in a different city. The exact same statistics. You are perfectly tied.
So it literally comes down to who behaved better over 270 minutes of football.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Like if their left back gets frustrated in the 90th minute and tugs an attacker's shirt to stop a breakaway, he gets a yellow card.
Oh, man.
His team drops to a -1 fair play score. Your team stays at 0. You advance to the knockouts, and they book a flight home.
That is insane. A single, cynical foul in a match 1,000 miles away just decided your country's fate.
It's brutal. And if, by some miracle, two teams are perfectly tied on fair play points as well, FIFA simply draws lots or relies on pre-tournament world rankings.
Which brings in the butterfly effect of the entire format. The sources point out that because of this third-place pool, there are exactly 495 different combinations of qualifiers.
Yeah, the math is just staggering.
Take the U.S. men's national team, for example. They won Group D. Historically, if you win your group, you immediately know who you play next.
Right, you can plan for it.
Not anymore. The U.S. won't know their knockout opponent until the very last second of the very last group stage match across the country.
Because their opponent changes based on which specific 8 third-place teams survive.
Right.
A late goal in a Group F game doesn't just affect Group F, it completely scrambles the algorithm. Out of those 495 possibilities, the U.S. was looking at potentially facing the third-place team from Group B.
Which perfectly tees up our featured match. Bosnia and Herzegovina against Qatar at Lumen Field in Seattle.
A massive game.
This was a literal winner-go-home scenario. Switzerland and Canada had already locked up the top 2 spots in Group B.
Yeah.
So Bosnia and Qatar were both sitting on a single point. They knew a draw eliminated both of them, and only a win would give them enough points to even enter the conversation for that third-place table.
And to officiate this incredibly tense, desperate match, FIFA assigns referee a Jesus Valenzuela from Venezuela.
Now, that's not a random assignment, is it?
No, absolutely not. That is a deliberate choice by FIFA for a match with this kind of pressure.
Right, because he averages about 5 yellow cards a game. His whole reputation is built on using early bookings to set a strict tone.
Exactly.
So if we look at the psychology here, you have defenders who are terrified of losing fair play points, facing a referee who loves handing them out.
It's a nightmare for them.
If you're a center back and Valenzuela gives you a yellow card in the 10th minute, how does that change your behavior for the next 80 minutes?
It fundamentally paralyzes you. I mean, you can no longer make aggressive tackles. You can't contest a 50-50 ball with the same intensity.
Because of the math.
Because you know a second yellow card is -3 fair play points for your country. It forces coaches to micromanage risk. You have to attack relentlessly to improve your goal difference, but you can't defend aggressively enough to trigger his cards.
It sounds like trying to solve a 495-piece jigsaw puzzle while someone is actively throwing yellow cards at your head.
That is a very accurate description.
I have to wonder, though, does this hyper-complicated format actually make the game more exciting for the listener, or does it just drain the passion out of it?
Well, it replaces raw, unbridled passion with a slow-burn psychological tension. Players aren't just playing the 11 guys in front of them anymore. They're constantly playing the algorithm.
Man, that tension certainly exploded on the pitch in Seattle. Bosnia won the match 3-1, officially eliminating Qatar.
Yep.
And as a quick side note, the sources highlight that Qatar finished with only 1 point, despite actually having a higher expected goals metric across their matches.
Right. And for those unfamiliar with the term, expected goals, or XG, is a statistical metric that measures the quality of a scoring chance.
Like how likely a shot is to go in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It basically asks, if a player takes this exact shot from this exact location 100 times, how many times should it mathematically go in?
Oh, interesting.
So it shows that Qatar was actually creating excellent scoring opportunities. They just lacked the clinical finishing to convert them.
It's a brutal reality check. But Bosnia secures 3rd place with 4 points. And what's remarkable about the match report is that Bosnia's survival was driven by 2 entirely different generations of players.
The contrast was amazing.
You have the 40-year-old veteran, Edin Dzeko, and an 18-year-old prodigy, Kerem Alapagovic.
It is the classic narrative of the maestro and the prodigy, but, playing out under the crushing weight of World Cup math.
Let's start with the veteran. Dzeko was earning his 150th cap in this match. And just to clarify, for anyone new to international football terminology, a cap is simply an appearance for your national team.
Yeah, it stems from the old days in the UK when players were literally given physical caps for playing in an international match.
I always loved that bit of trivia. So this is his 150th time representing his country. He's been their hero for 2 decades.
A true legend for them.
In the match, he forces an own goal off Qatar's Sultan Al-Break to make it 2-0. He hits the goalpost, but then in the 64th minute, the coach subs him off.
And he is not happy.
Dzeko is absolutely furious. He walks off the pitch and smashes a water bottle on the ground.
From a player's perspective, his frustration makes total sense, though. Goal difference is the primary tiebreaker.
Right.
He knows they're up 2-0, but they might need to win 4-0 or 5-0 to guarantee safety in that third-place table. He wants to stay on the pitch to pad the stats.
But while Dzeko is smashing water bottles, the 18-year-old is writing his name into the history books.
What a moment for him.
Begovic, who is 18 years and 276 days old on the day of the match, scores a stunning solo goal from outside the penalty box in the 29th minute.
It was an incredible strike.
He dances past the defense, creates space, and rifles the ball into the top corner. By doing that, he breaks a massive record held by Kylian Mbappe.
Which is no small feat.
Back in 2018, Mbappe was 19 years and 207 days old when he scored from outside the box. Begovic is now the youngest player to achieve that feat at a World Cup since detailed data tracking began in 1966.
His developmental trajectory has been incredible to watch. He came through the FC Köln and Bayer Leverkusen youth academies in Germany.
Okay.
He was sent to Salzburg, where he racked up 17 goal contributions in the youth leagues. His performances were so dominant that Bayer Leverkusen immediately triggered an €8 million buyback clause to secure his rights again.
Wait, how does a buyback clause actually work mechanically in football contract?
So when a big club like Leverkusen sells a promising young player to a smaller team to get them playing time, they often write a mechanism into the contract.
Like a safety net.
Exactly. It essentially says, if this kid turns out to be a superstar, we have the legal right to buy him back for a pre-agreed price of €8 million, regardless of whether his open market value skyrockets to 30 or 40 million.
Oh, wow.
It's an insurance policy on talent. And with Begovic now being linked to major clubs like Arsenal, Newcastle, and Roma, Leverkusen's €8 million investment looks like a massive bargain.
He clearly represents the future of the team. But the climax of this match really underscores the absurdity of the World Cup's rules.
Yes, the ending was something else.
In the 80th minute, a 21-year-old named Erman Mamic, who, by the way, was still playing for the Austrian youth team up until May, pokes in the third goal for Bosnia.
A huge goal.
It seals the victory. He is so overwhelmed with the emotion of scoring in a World Cup that he rips his shirt off in tears.
As you do.
Right. But referee Jesus Valenzuela immediately hands him an automatic yellow card. That is -1 fair play point on the master spreadsheet.
In almost any other scenario with this format, that impulsive celebration is a potentially disastrous error.
That's what you would think. But on the sideline, the Bosnian coach, Srđan Barbarez, didn't flinch.
Not at all.
Reporters noted he looked as calm as a nightclub doorman, while the stadium fans were going completely crazy to the Bosnian rock band Dubioza Collective's song USA.
Great song, by the way.
In the post-match press conference, Barbarez coolly explained that the yellow card didn't matter at all, because according to FIFA rules, single yellow cards are wiped clean after the group stage concludes.
That is a brilliant display of situational awareness under pressure.
I do want to push back on the coach's overall strategy, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
He's relying on an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old in a do-or-die scenario, while his 40-year-old legend is visibly furious on the bench. Isn't that an unbelievable risk?
It seems like it.
It feels less like carefully passing the torch and more like handing a lit stick of dynamite to a couple of kids and hoping they don't drop it.
I mean, it is a massive risk.
Yeah.
But if we analyze the tactical synthesis of the match, it was incredibly calculated by Barbarez.
How so?
He used Dzeko's 20 years of reputation to his advantage. We call it tactical gravity.
Tactical gravity. I like that.
Yeah, the Qatari defense respects the 40-year-old legend so much that they naturally cluster around him. When two center backs are magnetically drawn to Dzeko, it physically opens up 2 or 3 yards of space on the wing.
Ah, I see.
That is exactly the space the fearless 18-year-old needs to cut inside and shoot. And regarding the yellow card, Barbarez proved he wasn't just managing the players, he was managing the algorithm. He knew the rulebook inside and out.
When a player taking off his shirt requires the coach to do on-the-fly calculus about fair play algorithms, it completely changes how we at home watch the game. You can't just have a guy in the broadcast booth shouting goal anymore. You literally need a mathematician and a tactician to explain what's happening.
Yeah, the days of simple commentary are kind of over.
And the sources highlight a massive fundamental shift in who is providing that context for the 2026 World Cup.
It's a profound structural change in sports media. The complexity of the game has demanded a higher level of analytical translation.
Historically, female presenters were often placed on the fringes of men's international tournament coverage. They might do sideline reporting or host supplementary programming.
Right, they weren't in the main booth.
But for this World Cup, the major UK networks, the BBC and ITV, have placed female experts completely front and center. They are the primary anchors and the elite tactical analysts driving the coverage.
They're no longer just participating in the broadcast. They are architecting the narrative of the tournament.
The lineups are incredibly stacked. On the BBC, you have Alex Scott, a former Arsenal and England defender bringing top-tier playing experience.
She's fantastic.
You have Gabby Logan, who has decades of multi-sport broadcasting experience, and Kelly Cates anchoring the ship. Over on ITV, Laura Woods and Summer Hunter are leading the studio.
A really strong team.
And they brought in Emma Hayes, who is widely considered one of the most brilliant managerial minds in the game, to break down the tactics. And crucially, they have Christina Unkel, a former referee, explicitly to analyze officiating decisions.
Having someone like Christina Unkel on the broadcast is vital when you consider the stakes of the fair play table.
Oh, absolutely.
When Jesus Valenzuela issues a card in the 10th minute, Uncle can instantly translate the difference between a reckless physical challenge and a calculated tactical foul.
Right.
And she can explain exactly how that decision alters the mathematical permutations of the group.
And think about how you, the listener, watch sports today. When you have Emma Hayes on your screen, she isn't just saying Bosnia passed the ball well.
No, she goes much deeper.
She has the ability to pause the footage and visually highlight that concept of tactical gravity you mentioned. She can show you exactly how Djigo's positioning manipulated the Qatari defense to create the opening for the 18-year-old.
Which is so valuable for the viewer.
When the on-pitch product becomes this mathematically and tactically dense, it elevates your entire viewing experience to have elite minds bridging the gap between the spreadsheet and your living room.
Because information is only useful if it's properly contextualized.
Right.
These broadcasters are taking 495 permutations, expected goals data, and complex positional tactics, and translating them into a compelling, understandable television product.
We've spent a lot of time discussing the highly professional, analytical evolution of the World Cup broadcast, but running parallel to this legitimate ecosystem is a completely unregulated Wild West.
Oh boy, yes it is.
The sources dive into the celebrity circus surrounding the tournament specifically, the intersection of football fame and cryptocurrency.
This is where the modern spectacle surrounding the World Cup really detaches from reality.
While the broadcast booth is analyzing expected goals, legends of the game are engaging in entirely different, bizarre side hustles. The crypto briefing source outlines a fascinating scenario. Brazil is playing Scotland in Miami.
And just for context, Brazil wins that match comfortably, 3-0.
Right. And standing on the sidelines, boosting team morale and waving to the cameras is Brazilian legend Ronaldinho.
A universally beloved figure, one of the most naturally gifted players to ever touch a football.
He is literal football royalty. But off the pitch, Ronaldinho was actively operating as the face of a meme token called Star 10.
And this is where we have to critically examine the mechanics of celebrity endorsements in the crypto space.
This Star 10 token was launched on the BNB chain, and fueled by his massive global following, it skyrocketed to a $397 million market cap.
Unbelievable numbers.
The token promised buyers various perks, like access to an AI agent and signed digital collectibles. However, the source points out a massive, flashing red flag that was baked into the token's code from the very beginning. A 35% insider allocation.
Yeah, that's the catch.
Let's pause here. Walk me through the actual mechanics of a 35% insider allocation. Why is that considered a trap?
Well, think of the total supply of a cryptocurrency, like a pie.
Okay.
A 35% insider allocation means that before the public is ever allowed to buy a single slice, the creators and their celebrity partners have already taken more than a third of the pie for themselves.
Wow. Just taking it.
Yeah, usually for free or at a fraction of a cent.
So they hold a massive portion of the supply with zero risk.
Exactly. They use the celebrity's fame to hype the token to retail fans. The fans buy in, which artificially pumps the price up to that $397 million market cap.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Once the price peaks, the insiders sell their 35% stake on the open market, cashing out millions. This massive sell-off plummets the value of the token, leaving the retail fans holding a worthless asset.
That's terrible.
It is a structural trap designed to extract liquidity from fans.
It is essentially like starting a World Cup match where the referee gives the opposing team a 3-goal head start before you've even tied your cleats.
Exactly.
The game is mathematically rigged against you from the first whistle. It's such a sharp contrast, too, because around the exact same time this token was crashing, Ronaldinho made a legitimate, real-world football investment.
Right. He became a shareholder and an official ambassador for Ravenna FC, an Italian Serie C club.
That contrast highlights the bizarre duality of modern sports celebrity. On the pitch, during that Bosnia versus Qatar match, every single action is hyper-regulated.
Very much.
Jesus Valenzuela is tracking every tug of a jersey. The algorithms are tracking every millimeter of an offside run. But off the pitch, in the celebrity endorsement space, it is a completely lawless frontier.
Which requires a massive amount of media literacy from the fans.
For sure.
It demands critical thinking. Whether you are evaluating the long-term viability of a meme token or evaluating a national team's chances to survive the Group B math, you cannot rely on surface-level hype.
You really can't.
You have to investigate the fundamental mechanics. An AI agent sounds like a cool perk, but a 35% insider allocation is the fundamental reality of the trap.
Just like taking your shirt off after scoring a World Cup goal feels incredible.
But a -1 fair play point is the fundamental reality of the rules.
What an absolute journey today. We started by trying to calculate the terrifying fair play points and the 495 knockout permutations of an expanded 48-team tournament.
I bought math today.
So much math. We traveled to Seattle to watch an 18-year-old Bosnian teenager shatter Kylian Mbappe's historic record, while his 40-year-old captain smashed water bottles in frustration.
The drama of it all.
Then we explored how the face of sports broadcasting has dramatically evolved, relying on elite female tactical analysts to translate that immense complexity. And finally, we waded into the unregulated, surreal intersection of football royalty and the crypto markets.
It is a massive amount of information to synthesize, but that is the baseline requirement for being truly well-informed about the modern World Cup.
Being a fan today means looking way beyond the final score on the television screen. It is understanding the invisible math that dictates tournament survival, the media ecosystem that shapes how we consume the narrative, and the bizarre commercial money driving the spectacle off the pitch.
Absolutely. And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Right.
I've spent this entire deep dive discussing the hyper-quantification of this sport.
We really have.
We have advanced metrics tracking expected goals. We use algorithms to calculate fair play deductions for taking off a shirt. And we evaluate the market cap of a player's meme token. But with all of this relentless data and calculation, are we fundamentally changing our emotional connection to the beautiful game? Will the fans of the future be conditioned to celebrate a strategically absorbed yellow card in the midfield just as loudly as they celebrate a 20-yard screamer into the top corner?
Man, it makes you wonder what happened to that beautiful simplicity. Maybe the days of just watching the ball hit the back of the net and cheering with your friends are gone.
It really feels like it sometimes.
Maybe today a football match isn't just a game. It's a 495-piece jigsaw puzzle, and you've got a Venezuelan referee staring you down. Thanks for taking the deep dive with us.